Hi everybody. Today we're going to be dealing with goal 7, which is simplify square roots. Okay, there's a simple process that we follow when we're doing roots, and it all starts from knowing what are our perfect roots when we're trying to simplify radicals. So the perfect roots that we have are square root of 1, 4, 9, 16, and so on across the board. These are called perfect roots because if I took the square root of them, they work out to be nice, round, even numbers. They're not decimals. So what we're looking for when we do each of these problems is we're trying to figure out what is the largest perfect radical or perfect root that we can use to simplify these. There's a process that we can go through though that's actually pretty quick and easy to find it. Try dividing by 2, then divide by 3, then divide by 5, then 6, then 7, and keep going from there. I skipped 4 because 4 is a perfect square, so hopefully that wouldn't be one of them. And then same with 8. All right, I kind of skipped that because 4 would be a factor of that. So we're looking for the biggest. So start with dividing by 2. If I have 147 divided by 2, it's an odd number, so we know it doesn't divide. So try dividing it now by 3. 147 divided by 3 does divide out evenly, and it's equal to 3 times 49. We end up going with this because if we look for 49, 49 is the largest one that we can find within this. Okay. So if we were to take this and simplify it, we would say square root. What's the square root of 49? Well, we know right here that's 7, so we'd say 7. And then we can't do the square root of 3, so we leave it as square root of 3 on the inside. So the simplified form for this is 7 square root of 3. You pretty much do the exact same process for each one of these. So if you want to pause it and then check your answers, go ahead. I'll let you do those right now. To continue, if we have the square root of 75, let's go ahead and break this up. Try dividing by 2, obviously it doesn't work, so try dividing by 3, it does. We end up with 25 and 3. The square root of 25, if we simplify that, is 5, and then we have the square root of 3, since that will not reduce. So it's 5 and then square root of 3. 2 more. These are pretty quick problems. 48, try dividing by 2. Doesn't work. It does work, but when we have 2 and 24, 24 is not a perfect square over here. So it's not one of our perfect roots, so we don't use it. So let's try 3. 3 and 16. Aha! 16 is a perfect root from that list above. So if we took the square root of 16, we end up with 4, and we still have the square root of 3, because we can't do the square root of 3 there. All right? I'm noticing a trend here of these 3's, huh? Try dividing by 2 for 108, and we get 54. Well, 54 is not one of our perfect roots, so let's go on to 3. 108 divided by 3 is 36. So we get 36 and 3. 36 is a perfect square. We got it right here. So square root of 36 is 6. And then we have the square root of 3. So 6 square root of 3 is our final answer there. Now this gets a little more challenging once you start to add variables to the problems. So there's basic rules that you need to know here for doing these. If we have the square root of x to the second, that just equals x. Square root of x to the fourth equals x squared. Square root of x to the 10th equals x to the 5th. Now the pattern that hopefully you can find here is how do we figure out what power it is right here? Well, that all relates to the fact that this is a square on the outside. Because we have a square but we don't write it, that means we take these values here and we're always dividing. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we have x to the 30th. 30 divided by 2 would mean that this would be x to the 15th. All right, so the same process still applies for these. Now we're just going to incorporate some variables. If I have x to the 8th power, and I have square root of 45. Square root of 45 breaks up into 9 and 5, because 9 is a perfect square. X to the 8th is an even number, so we can just leave it. And then let's go through and actually simplify each one of these parts. Square root of 9 is just going to be 3. Square root of 5, I can't simplify, so we'll just leave it as the square root of 5. Can this number be cut in half? It sure can. 8 divided by 2 is going to equal 4. because we're able to do it, we put it outside. Anything we can do, we put outside. Anything we can't do, we put it on the inside. Okay? Here you go. Letter F, we're going to take this and we're going to try to simplify each part. Square root of 100. Very nice. It's already a perfect square. However, when we look at 15, is this an even number? No, it's an odd number. When we have odd numbers, we can't divide it evenly by 2. So the rule is go down to the next smallest one, or next largest one that is divisible by 2. That would mean we're going to take this 15 and break it up into 14, because that is smaller than 15 and it's divisible by 2, and 1. Now simplify each part. What's the square root of 100? It's just 10. What's the square root of x to the 14th? Cut it in half, it's x to the 7. And this x to the first, I can't simplify it, so we leave it as x. So the answer is 10x to the 7th, square root of x. Letter G. Same idea, now these are getting a little bigger. All right. 40 does not work, but we can break it up into 4 and 10. X to the 7th is an odd number, so that doesn't work. So we now go to the smaller number that's closest to it, and that's 6 and 1. 12 is even, so it works, so we're going to leave it as 12. Now, I know I'm creating a big step here by doing that, but I'm just trying to show you the simplified steps one little part at a time. So square root of 4 is just 2. I can't do the square root of 10, so it stays inside. X to the 6 is like doing 6 divided by 2, which we can do, which is x to the 3rd. I can't do the square root of x, so we just leave it, because I can't cut 1 in half. And then y to the 12th, I can cut it in half, so we're going to have y to the 6th. So this is our final answer right here. 2x cubed, y is 6, 10, or root 10x. And our last one. This one's going to be a doozy, so stay with me. 72. Try breaking it up. If we use 2 and 36, it'll work out perfectly. 11 is not divisible by 2. So the next smallest number would be 10. 9 is not divisible by 2, so the next number down would be 8. And now we have 6 parts to go through. Let's just simplify each part. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 2 we can't do. X to the 10th can be cut in half. Y to the first, or x to the first we can't do. Y to the 8th we can cut in half. And y to the first can't do. So there's your simplified answer. Hope this helps. I know these are tricky. Go back and try them again on your own. Let me know if you have any questions.